Hey guys, welcome to the Plant Doctor. What I want to go over today are 7 things you need to do to your lawnmower before you start in the spring season. I'm going to start with some recommendations that will work for a push mower or a riding mower, and then once I get through those, I'm going to talk about some things that would be more specific to a riding mower in general. So the first thing that we want to look at, probably the most important thing, is the oil. You need to change the oil in your lawnmower at least once a year. Even if you're just mowing your residential lot every other week from say April through October, November timeframe, you're stirring up a lot of dust and you're going to get a lot of dirty oil by the time the dormant season rolls around for you. So change out your oil. If you have a riding mower, more than likely you also have an oil filter. Make sure when you change your oil, you're also changing your oil filter. Along with filters, number 2 thing you need to do is either clean or change out your air filter. Now on this mower, I can get away with cleaning it a little bit. It has a sponge around the main air filter port. I can take that sponge off and beat it off and beat the dust out of it and put the sponge back on there. And it does pretty good. I can get about 2 years use out of an air filter on this mower. So regardless if you have a push mower or a riding mower, you will have an air filter. The number 3 thing you need to check is your spark plugs or spark plug. Most mowers are only gonna have one spark plug, regardless if it's a push mower or a riding mower. Simple thing to do, take a spark plug wrench and back out your spark plug. If the gap in your spark plug is dirty or sooty, it's time to change that spark plug. If it has a clear, shiny metal finish to it still, your spark plug's good. You can screw it back in, but check your spark plug to ensure that your motor is going to be firing correctly. Another thing you want to do is check your mower blades. I get about 2 years use out of a blade. I'll usually sharpen my blade midway through the mowing season. So I'll start mowing in April, and then we get to like August, I'll take off the blades and sharpen them. And I get about 2 years use. And this one in my left hand here, this is an old blade and this is a new blade. I'm gonna be putting new blades on this today. Regardless if you have a riding mower or push mower, make sure you've got a good sharp blade edge, and either if it's dull or if you've got chips in it, take it off and sharpen it or go get new blades. New blades aren't terrible. These are the standard blades that would come with my mower here. This is a Toro. I went up to the mower shop and I got 2 blades and they were, I think, $38 for both of them. So like $16 a piece or so, plus tax on there. And I got new mower blades, but check your mower blades. Some things that are more specific to a riding mower. One thing you want to do is make sure your tires are inflated. If you have one tire that has less air in it and the other, what'll happen is you'll get an uneven cut because your deck will be leaning towards the side with less air. And so you'll have these wavy looks in your yard. Most riding mowers are going to have bearing buddies on them somewhere. On my mower, I've got bearing buddies on these front wheels, and there's a couple other places I have bearing buddies. You need a grease gun. I've got a mini grease gun here, and you need some grease. I use this Lucas red and tacky grease. It's heavy duty grease, just because up here at the front of the mower, we're getting a ton of dust, a ton of grass clippings, leaf clippings, just constantly getting turned over around these wheels. I need something that's going to last the entire season for me. And this anti-seize red and tacky from Lucas, I've used this for several years. Does a fantastic job for me. I'll get season-long grease on this. Sometimes when I get into November, if I'm cleaning up leaves really late in the season, I may get a little squeak on the front wheels up here, but I can shoot a little more of this in there and it does a good job. So make sure that your tires are inflated. Also make sure if you have bearing buddies that you grease your bearing buddies before you start the mowing season. One more thing that you want to do with your riding mower, and I've seen a few push mowers that have these as well. Check the belts, especially if you have a self-propelled push mower. Sometimes they'll have a small belt on them. Make sure that your belts do not have any nicks or gashes in them. The worst thing that can happen sometimes is you're out mowing and you sling a belt or you break a belt and your mower's sitting in the front yard and you don't have a way to move it, and you've got to go to the mower store, get a new belt, put the new belt on while it's sitting in the front yard, and then continue mowing. I've had that happen before. It's not fun. But if you check your mowers like we're doing here before the mowing season, check those belts out, and hopefully you can avoid that problem. One last thing you want to do before you start mowing during the season is just clean your mower, especially if you have a deck on your mower like this. Leaves and grass can get up on top of it. Take a blower, take a hose, blow it out first, and then take a hose and then just wash it off real good before you get the season started. And if you do those things, your mower is going to last you for years and years. Guys, as always, thank you for watching The Plant Doctor, and until next time, happy gardening.